Title of this message is Divine Judgments and Supernatural Meetings. Divine Judgments and Supernatural Meetings. So the king and Haman went to Queen Esther's banquet. And as they were drinking wine on the second day, the king again asked Queen Esther, "What is your petition? It will be given to you. What is your request? Even up until half the kingdom, it will be granted." And then Queen Esther answered, "If I have found favor with you, your majesty, and if it pleases you, grant me my life. This is my petition, and spare my people. This is my request. For I and my people have been sold to be destroyed, killed, and annihilated. If we had merely been sold as male and female slaves, I would have kept quiet, because no such distress would justify disturbing the king." King Xerxes asked Queen Esther, "Who is he? Where is he? The man who has dared to do such a thing?" Esther said, "An adversary, the enemy. This vile Haman, an adversary and an enemy. The devil, the demon's name is Haman." And then Haman was terrified before the king and the queen. The king got up in rage and left his wine and went out into the palace garden. But Haman, realizing that the king had already decided his fate, stayed behind to beg Queen Esther for his life. Now listen, I asked y'all the question yesterday, when did God decide? I swear to God to y'all, this text was not considered yesterday because I had never looked at this until today. Not even this morning, only just right now. That's how I prophesy. That's how my gift works. That's how my office is accurate. Line upon line. I see, whenever you see cats in your dream just everywhere, that is witchcraft and it's the devil. I'm telling you. And then Haman was terrified before the king and queen. The king got up in rage and left his wine and went out into the palace garden. The king got up in rage. So the rage that Haman was feeling for what he wanted to do to his wife's people and his wife is now transferred to the king, who has the power to carry out and handle any edict, any verdict that he wanted to, because he was the king. Then he got up and left his wine. Why? Because wine makes the heart cheerful. It makes you happy. He ain't want nothing else to drink. He didn't want nothing to take him and distract him. He didn't want nothing else to throw him off. And so he left his wine. He didn't want new wine or old wine. He didn't want no wine. He didn't want nothing to calm him down. And then he went out into the palace garden. So then he goes out to the garden. When he goes out to the garden, we already know who in the garden. The gardener. Who is the gardener? Jesus Christ. God the Father. You know he plants wonderful gardens. You know that he's connected to the vine and the branch. You know that the fruit of the vine is there. You know that the wisdom is there. You know that the tree of good is there. That the trees of God are there. That's a whole nother revelation for y'all. And so he went out into the palace garden. So y'all don't believe that Jesus Christ is the gardener. The Bible says in the book of Matthew, well, after his resurrection, he's there. Mary Magdalene is there at the tomb, and he's not answering her. He's not talking to her. And finally, he calls her from behind and says, Mary. When she turned around, the Bible says that she thought or mistaken him to be the gardener. She thought he was the gardener because he was looking like the gardener, because he is the gardener, the seed planter, the harvest carer. He takes care of the harvest. He sows, he reaps, sows one seed, brings it up, watches it manifest. He said, your leaves will not wither or fade. He controls all of the gardens. He is the gardener. Anyway, I just want to say that. And he had to say, and then when let me get between that, she had to look after Jesus was recognized and she could get his identity right by identifying his voice. Because looking at him, he looked like the gardener. But after he spoke, she said, Rabboni, Rabboni. Because his voice gave her clarity. See, when God gives you clarity through his voice, can't nobody deceive you. Because no matter who in the garden at that point, no matter how many snakes and serpents is in the garden, you're going to hear God's voice when God calls you by name. The Bible says, and when he loves you, he'll call you by name. He said, Mary, Mary. Anyway. And just as the king... so he went out into the palace garden, but Haman, realizing that the king had already decided his fate. I asked y'all the question yesterday, when did God decide? So he stayed behind to beg Esther for his life. Just as the king returned from the palace garden to the banquet hall, Haman was falling on the couch where Esther was reclining. This is coaching couch, ain't it? So just as the king returned from the garden, he done been in the presence of God now. He got clear instruction now. He know exactly what God is saying because he been connected to the vine and the branch. And he wasn't there to take no communion to let this thing pass by. Now, the devil got away with a lot last year, but he ain't getting away with nothing this year. And this right here ain't delusional. This is factual. And you better be able to compare these things to your life and your circumstances that are taking place now. And you better point at that enemy and say, he's the one trying to do this to me. You better know what you're talking about and tell the truth, because these people are evil. Tell a person no 1,000 times and they keep trying to override it. Just as the king returned from the palace garden to the banquet hall, Haman was falling on the couch where Esther was reclining. The king exclaimed, will he even molest the queen while she is with me in the house? Will he even try to molest me, try to rape me, try to sabotage me, try to take my virtue, my kingdom, my queenship, my purity, even while the king is with me? You got to be crazy. When we enter into 2024, the Lion of the tribe of Judah came into certain of our lives. The King is here. What is that? The presence of God, the ark of God. Will this man try to do this to me even while the ark of God is here and the presence of God is here? How dare you disrespect the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords and his presence and his power? How dare you try to molest the queen while she is with me in the house? As soon as the word left the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. And then Harbona, one of the eunuchs attending the king, said, a pole reaching to a height of 50 cubits stands by Haman's house. He had it set up for Mordecai, who spoke up to help the king. He mad because Mordecai, we talked about that. He was mad because Mordecai was trying to help the king, basically trying to save the king's life. The king said, impale him on it. So they impaled Haman on the pole he had set up for Mordecai. And then the king's fury subsided. So this crazy individual, Haman, had a plan and a plot. But his plan and plot was to have the pole near his house. So the pole that he was going to try, he literally wanted to see him. He wanted to see him hanging right there on that pole. Every day he looked out, he wanted to see a dead man. Every day he looked out, he wanted to see that. He didn't want the pole far away from his house. He put it right there so where he could see it. On a pole. And the Bible says that it all was messed up for him. Because the same pole, he tried the same pole, the same 5G pole that he tried to have set up outside of his house to hang me on it. He got hung on it. In case you need clarity of this whole text. The plan of the enemy will fail miserably. His agenda and his purpose will literally cast no fruit. It will never see the light of day. And God will not allow the enemy, the devil, the antichrist, the sorcerers, the witches, the warlocks, their demons, their devils to exact upon me or my children. I'm a praying woman of God, and I live this life to make sure that I am not in harm's way. And that I stay with the presence of God around me for real. I told y'all before, that devil is angry. So don't be calling nobody, your friend, who don't love your God. And don't think because they've been quiet that they being your friend. No, that mean they really angry. Some people, some people, the angrier they get real quiet because that's when they really trying to plot and plan. I got another word coming up today at 2:00. I'll be back at this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna knock these demons out in the interim of this year. We're not gonna do none of that other mess this year. The day I was inside my house and a big 2023 gray truck pulled up in front of my house with a high official inside of it, a white man. And the white man was just pulled up in front of my house. And you guys see where I live. You don't pull in front of somebody's house here unless you come in there. And he just sat there in front of my house, pulled out all these devices, pulled out his devices. He sat them right in front of my door right there. He said, da 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 dee 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 dee. And I'm not talking about he had intentions on not doing something with something in here. He just pulled right up out there. At the moment he pulled up, I was taking Joseph out the front door. At the very moment that he pulled up, I was taking Joseph out the front door. I literally looked at my baby, Joseph, Mom! And I shut the door. And then I looked again and I was like, and I saw the white man. And after he did everything he did, he pulled off. Remember that AT&T truck I told y'all about? That AT&T truck was right there with the black man across the street out of nowhere today. Who every time I get ready to leave, his garage open up. Every time I come and go, his garage going up. I'm going to tell you people, check your houses for bugs. I know this might sound crazy. Check your houses for bugs. I mean, I'll never forget I had a dream. They said, you got a bug problem. I said, what bug problem? Inside of the phones. It was inside of the phones, inside of the walls where they had literally bugged and tapped stuff. For real. That happened when I was living in Maryland. When I moved into this house, Dad started making videos everywhere saying, making laughing. It was like now we could see they was posting videos saying how they could spy on somebody's house and posting things talking about the neighbors. Y'all ever seen that movie, The Neighbors? How you could just spy and do all kind of crazy stuff to people. I'm telling you, then they would send people with big, huge tractor trailers. They would fill the tractor trailers up with dirt bikes. They would have the tractor trailer. You got to have millions of dollars to do stuff like this. Just do petty stuff to harass. The tractor trailer would park a little bit up. They would put the dirt bikes on there. Let the people get off with the dirt bikes. Ride through the neighborhood all day long, come back, put the things up, go get some food, come back and do it again. Then they would load the things back up, the tractor trailers back up with the dirt bikes, four-wheelers, and then pull off. And I'm talking about 16-wheeler tractor trailers. I ain't lying about nothing, I'm telling y'all. I've even seen them put cars in the back of them things. Come to where I lived at when I was living at the old address, back the car off the tractor trailer. When they backed the car off the tractor trailer, let that white car spin wheels, came out there to the block where my kids was catching a bus at and did a 360 over and over again. Swerve wild. I swear to God, if I was to take the FBI back there today, which I ain't got to, there, everybody already know everything. The skid marks is probably still there in the middle of the road while y'all playing. Don't play with these people. I gotta go. I'll be back a little later. I got another word for y'all today. Peace out. And excuse my temperament. Excuse my temperament and excuse my tone. But when I see anybody trying to plot or plan or go near my children or go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Handirio shandirio korrendiria andirio shetendiria kataya redebedi andala la bositi di andala la baura bakura bekendiria shete belesiondo la bahura bakandiria shata. I just gotta speak in tongues because I'm telling you, I gotta pray. I gotta pray.